What up? Pastor G in the house on this wonderful Wednesday. The sun is back out again. The sun is back out again. I'm truly thankful for this Wednesday, this beautiful Wednesday in March. The weather, I think, is perfect. I think it's not too hot. It's not too cold right now. I think it's beautiful. It's all about perspective. It's all about being seeing things the right way. It's all about your perspective on things. Make the best of every moment you are able to live. I think that we got to make the best of it. We got to retrain our thoughts. We got to retrain our mind. Thank God for Kevin Lee White in the house, Angela Thomas, sister cousin in the house, Felicia Networker in the house, Bernadette Qualls in the house. I want you to share this with somebody. Today I am thankful. Somebody say happy Thursday. Is today Thursday? Today is Wednesday. We're jumping up. What's up, Sandra? Is today Wednesday or Thursday? Angela is a smart one, so if she says Thursday, I guess it's Thursday. But I think it's Wednesday. Thank God for being in house. Thank God for being alive. I will share this video. Please go share this video. I got something I think is very powerful today. I think it's going to be very uplifting today. What's up, Nolan? He's in the house on this Wednesday. I hope you guys hear the 12 noon siren going off. Oops. Yeah, busy week. Wednesday. I was just finna declare this Thursday, and I know I don't have lunchtime uplift on Thursday, but if Angela says so, it's gonna be Thursday for me. I'm excited about today, man. We got to live life. You hear me? We got to live life. You gotta get out and do this thing. I'm telling my people everywhere that you I don't care how old you are. I don't care what stage of life you're in. It's never too late for you to get it in. Whenever you make a step, you got the full endorsement of your God. It's time to make some steps. It might be insignificant steps to other people, but what God has planned for you, just the specificness of your destiny is so powerful that if you make one move, man, it's going to yield incredible results for you as well as other people, man. God has predestined you for greatness. It's rough in the beginning for great people. Get this, it's rough in the beginning for great people. And that's because your enemy don't want you to get started. But rest assured, once you get started, you're going to feel the full power of your God, of your dad that is behind you, and he's ready to make a move with you. I hope you're ready to make a move. What's up, April? Glad to have you in the house. Now, today's lunchtime uplift is about why the storms? Why the storms? Why do we have to go through storms in life? Now, that's a question that a lot of people ask. Why do I have to go through a storm? And today I got something that I think is going to bless your heart, and it's going to really show you why you're in this moment. It's not here to kill you. It's here to bless you. What you're going through right now is here to bless you. All things are working together for your good. Even if it don't seem like at the moment, they are working in your favor. They are in your favor. Things are working in your favor. Thank God for Pastor Harris in the house. Amen. They are working in your favor. Brian Cole, glad to have you in. Now, you got to write this down. Say, they are working in my favor. No matter what I'm going, no matter the storms of life that I'm facing right now, they are working in my favor. They're about to wash some things away. They're about to clean you up for your next level of living. Some of you have got such a great calling on your life, and it is rough in the beginning. But listen. Ain't it strange sometimes? It seems like God wait till this phase or this moment in my life that he brings this thing. You know, you did some incredible things in life, but now is the time that what God is about to unveil, about to open, or about to reveal through you, eyes haven't seen, neither have ears heard, neither has it entered into your heart the things that God has designed for you. Now is the right time. There's many of us that we'll call late bloomers. we bloom late. Well, you know, we should have started when we were 20, we thought, but now God wait to the 40s and the 50s, and He says, now let me open it up. Let me get you started. So get ready to get started. Get ready, give yourself up, get yourself healthy, because this next run is going to be your best run. Watch what I say. This next run is going to be your best run. Now, this uplift is about why the storm. I was looking at on TV, the East Coast is being hit by an incredible winter storm. Now this is so significant because in the middle of this storm, most of the people, since they had experienced warm weather and since it had gotten into the month of March, they believed that, you know, winter had missed them. What's up, Rapunzel my cousin Rapunzel Brown? They thought that winter had missed them, so they started putting away their winter equipment, because they felt like, no, it's out of season for a winter storm to hit. And out of nowhere, boom, they were blistered by a storm, and some predicted that it would be a blizzard, and they were caught off guard in this storm. They were caught completely off guard, put the winter equipment up, because they had determined that the season was over for winter weather. And so as a consequence, when the storm hit, it caught a lot of people in a very vulnerable position. They had put away stuff. Now, when a storm hits, this is something that we have to understand. A storm, when it hits out of nowhere, and when you're unexpected, and when it comes and you don't expect it, it catches you in a very, sometimes you're not prepared for it, and it blindsides you, and you boom. And so now your life is greatly inconvenienced because of the storm that you thought was the season was over for that. You thought that you had gotten past it. You thought that now things are running pretty good for me. I don't have to worry about that. So what I use as a defense to storms, I let my guard down, and out of nowhere, boom, it hit me out of nowhere. And so one of the inconveniences of a winter storm is the fact that it hampers your travel, your mobility is greatly reduced. Now we can deal with that, because when a storm hits, usually that's one of the times that our employer will make concessions for us staying at home. We don't have to go to work, and so we take advantage of that time that the storm hits. We can stay. As a matter of fact, or the week that we're off, we take advantage and say, I'm gonna get some rest because of the storm. Now, the storm would inconvenience us in several areas, but the main thing that is most publicized is probably the fact that people have lost power. And they say how many millions of people, because of this unexpected storm, has lost power. Now, there's many inconveniences in the storm, but the main inconvenience is the fact that I've lost power. Now, you know, under normal circumstances, the storm hit, you get the chance to stay at home, you get a chance to rest. But if you lose power, the last place you want to be is confined to your house when you don't have power. I experienced a storm one time where we were out 7 days. Last place you want to be is in the house in the middle of a storm. So here it is. East Coast been hit by this storm at the time that they thought that the season was over, the time that they thought that it couldn't happen because we've been experiencing some good time, and they were blindsided by this storm. Now, here's what you do when you are hit with a storm. Under normal circumstances, you call in to the utility company or the people that you think that are responsible for restoration of your power. And when you call in, you know, they'll say, now, most of the time you get an answer machine, and they'll tell you that power will be restored at a certain time. Now, the first step is to put in the call. Number one, you got to put in the call. Number two, the determining factor, what determines how long you will be without power, is the dispatching of a qualified technician. A qualified technician that will determine when they get on scene. They usually, they give you an estimated time as to how long it will take to restore your power. Because in the storm, there's a lot of inconveniences, but the main inconvenience is losing power. So you put the call in, number one, and then they will dispatch a qualified technician that is accustomed to working on power. Now you can't call your dad. You can't call your mom. You can't call your friend because they are not qualified as a technician to restore your power, because you want your power to be restored. And I think this is a very powerful picture. This storm that hit the East Coast caught them off guard. Seems like it's out of season, because there are some of you that are listening to the sound of my voice right now. You have been hit with a major storm. Major winter storm. What's up, Henrietta? What's good, Teresa? What's up, babe? You have been hit with a major storm. Now, this storm has come at a time when you have been experiencing some good weather, if you will. This storm has come at a time when you have put away your storm equipment because you thought it was out of season for this type of storm. So now the storm has come to your life, and you are very vulnerable. You are in a moment that you don't have any defense. Now, ain't that amazing that these storms come at a time when we not expecting them? We think that is over. Now, we expect storms, but we get at a place in our life where we say, "Not things are going well. I think that I'm comfortable right now. I think that I can make it right now." So I put my guard down, and then I get hit. I want to speak to you today that's been hit by something that you were not expecting. A storm has hit your life, and you have actually lost power. You have been shut down. Just like the East Coast, unexpected, thought the season was over for this type of storm, put away their equipment, and now they've been hit by a blizzard. You have been hit in your life by a blizzard that you did not expect. You thought your season was over for this to happen. You have put your guard down. You put your equipment away. You put the things away that you usually have up for times like these, and it hits you out of nowhere. You are the persons that I want to speak to today. And just like in a natural storm, in the storms of life, the first response is you put in a call. Number one, I got to put in a call, or I've got to cry out. I got to cry out. And just like in the natural circumstances, most of the time you'll get a recording that will actually say to you that there is an outage in your area. There is an outage because it's been reported by someone else that is in your area. And the estimated time for restoration, they might tell you 4 o'clock. Well, this tells me something. That when I call and I get the reply that there is an outage because it's already been reported, this is to tell me, and this is to tell you, that what you're going through right now, it might seem like you are isolated, but there are other people that are going through the same thing. Don't think that you're in the storm by yourself. Sometimes we go through and we think, I'm the only one that is going through this moment. But I'm here to tell you, you're not the only one. What's up, Tori Delaney? Tori says, God. What's up, Brother Moses Chisholm? Dr. Moses Chisholm, thank God. Now, Matthew 7, Jesus says something very profound. And I'm going to give you some scripture because I want you to know the first response when you get blindsided by a storm is to make the cry, make the plea, put in the call, and you will discover that you are not the only one in this moment. Even though you feel like you're isolated and it seems like this is out of season for me, I did not expect this to happen. I put my guard down. I am blindsided by this thing. Put in the call. And just like in a natural situation, the determination of how long you will be out of power or how long you will be shut down is determined by the response of a qualified technician. A qualified technician. So what happens here, when I go through a storm, I have to put the cry out to the one that's qualified to help. This is not a moment that I call my best friend. This is not the moment that I call my daddy. This is not the moment I call my mama. This is not the moment I call my sisters and brothers. I have to call out or cry out to the one that is qualified to restore me. Now, this is very important that you get this report. Now, just as you get the recording says that it's by 4 o'clock. You will be restored, and this is just an estimate based off someone's experience of this happening before. This is just based. How many times have you had someone to give you their experience when you told them about the storm that we were going through, and they tell you, well, it probably won't last but a month. Well, or they say by 4 o'clock you'll be back on. But now here it is 6:30. And you have not been restored. Now, what you do is you go and you put another call in. You start calling again until you get a person. You get a person, and then you know how we do. Once we get a person, we start telling them, you told me by 4 o'clock. You told me that my power will be back on. Now it's 6:30. You begin to give them your payment history. You begin to tell them that you pay your bills on time, blah, blah, and blah. And it seems like they are just listening to you, and they might try to console you, but you're not trying to hear them console you right now. You want to know when your power on, and because they shouldn't have told you that it would be back on by 4 p.m. Now it's 6:30. And just to hear them say to you, I understand what you're going through, but then they declare something to you that's powerful. They say, I'm not responsible. The only thing I can do is show compassion. But this is an act of God. Oh, man, that is very powerful. They say this is an act of God. The storm that you're going through, I wish that if it had been a driver running to a pole, knocked the pole down, then maybe somebody would have been responsible. But since this was a storm, we call it an act of God. There's nothing that I can do. You can tell me about your history. You can tell me that you don't need this in your life. You can tell me how expensive this process has been to you. You can tell me about the losses that you're lost in the process. You can say that you can tell me all the excuses, but when I declare, or when the utility worker says that this is an act of God, in other words, she's saying there's nothing I can do for you right now. This is in the hands of God. Now I want you to listen to this, because you are experiencing these type storms right now, and it has been declared, and you got to know that this is an act of God. So what you got to do is you got to stop fussing at your husband. You got to stop fussing at your wife. You got to stop fussing at your friends. You got to stop fussing at your children, because there's nothing that they can do about this moment. It can only be resolved by a qualified technician. The first thing you must do is put in the call first and let them know that I have been shut down. I have been my power is gone, so that they can say, well, look, you're not the only one, and I'm here to tell you, you're not the only one in this situation. You're not. This is an act of God. Now, this is very powerful that you get this. This is God working something out in you in the time that you consider the most inconvenient time. You put your guard down. You thought that it was fair weather from here. You did not expect this thing to hit you, but you find yourself in the middle of it all. But I'm here to tell you, put the call in, the qualified worker will be dispatched. And notice how when you're in weather like this, it hinders travel, so nobody can get you. You notice how God isolate you in this moment, how God won't allow people to get to you. He puts you in a place where it seems like there's no help. Only thing you can do now is put out the call, put out the cry out to the one that is qualified to restore you. See, there's something incredible about a storm. A storm will isolate you. A storm will illuminate you. Now, this is very powerful, because I remember just having a meeting. I was participating in a marriage seminar, and we was talking about, this is the 20th year commemoration of the tornado that hit in College Station, Arkansas, here in the Little Rock area. A devastating tornado had hit the College Station. This is the 20th year anniversary of that. This was an unplanned storm. This was in the midst of people getting caught in the middle of something that they did not expect. But you got to understand, this was an act of God. Storms of life are acts of God, and when we understand that they are God's tool, then we'll process it, and we'll be able to go through the moment. And they commemorated the 20th year. I remember this so significantly because when this storm hit, one of the centerpieces of the storm was my father-in-law pastored a church in the College Station area called Graham's Temple Church of God in Christ. And I remember the day that the storm hit. They had the photos of the church. They had the some of you remember that there were cars in the trees. There was some of the membership that was having rehearsal at the church. But what's significant about this, prior to this storm, prior to this moment, the church was getting ready. They had a desire to rebuild the church. Where they had done patchwork on the church, but they had a desire. What's up, Sheila Butler? They had a desire to rebuild, but the resources were not there. The resources were not there. And so, they did as much patchwork as they can do. And there was many other facilities and homes in that area that really needed to be rebuilt, but the resources wasn't there, and so they did patchwork. But all of a sudden, here come an unpredicted storm. It hits the area, and it begins to reap havoc in the area. It began to tear up things. It began to uproot things. It began to blow over things. It began to put cars in the house. Now, in the midst of the storm, everybody that was in the middle of it was frantic. They were afraid. They were scared. They was asking, why did this happen? But I remember very clearly at the end of the storm, I remember because my daughter, she was 20, or she was a baby at the time. And I remember this storm got national attention. This storm was so incredible that all the news outlets came, because at that time, our president was President Clinton at the time. And so because of the magnitude of the storm, it got national attention. It's got the attention of people that could help. Now, remind you, the church there wanted to rebuild, but they didn't have the resources. But here comes a storm that was unscheduled, an act of God. Now they have national attention. And so as he come and he walks the street, here come national news. And one of the centerpieces there again was his church in the background. And there was a picture of my daughter Colin, of him, the president, holding my daughter in the front of the church. But notice this. This storm caused people that usually would not be in College Station to be in College Station. All the city officials were in College Station. All the the governor was in College Station, and the president was in College Station. Here are people in College Station under normal circumstances would not be in College Station, all because of a storm that nobody wanted. And as a consequence to them seeing the disaster that was caused by the storm, he declared this area a disaster area. Now, you know what that means? When he declared it that disaster area, that meant that disaster resources would be funneled into the area. Now, mind you, here go a church, here go houses, here go facilities that needed to be rebuilt, but never had the resources. But here comes a storm that put people in power that have the resources in place, and here comes the rebuilding process. Now get this, hear what I'm saying. A storm comes sometimes to bring national attention or attention to an area that needs attention. Now you got to get this. It might not be your design. It might not be the way that you want it, but it is an act of God. It was declared a disaster area. Now this is very important. This is very important. What a storm would do to you, it would cause you to be a disaster area. Now, I know that goes against your ego. Sometimes we want to still put on the good suit. We want to put on the designer clothes to prove to people that we still got it going on when we are all broken, we are all torn down. The storm has come to verify or to show us that we are broken. See, a storm. Once you declare yourself a disaster area, which many of us need to do right now, is declare ourselves a disaster area. This means that the ego got to drop. But the moment you declare, or you put in the call, or you put out the cry that you are a disaster, immediately you're going to see that the resources are going to come into play, because you have, see, this will break down the ego. Storms come to break down the ego. And the resources will come as a consequences to you declaring yourself a disaster area. Now, this is very important that we get this. This is why the storms of life show up, is because, there's neighborhoods right now that in most of our areas, the older neighborhoods, the utility wires are on the poles. But the new subdivisions are putting the wiring in the ground so that when a storm hits, you don't lose power. Now, this is very important that you get this. You don't lose power. See, a storm will come to show you the areas that you are vulnerable in. You might think that you got it going on, but when a storm hit, it'll tell you that you just lost power. You have been shut down because you were vulnerable. You got to get this. Storm will come to declare you a disaster. A storm comes to show you the areas that you are vulnerable in. And sometimes it's a natural disaster, and then there's sometimes storms happen because you didn't do the right thing. And so sometimes as a consequence of a storm, we hear about a storm coming, we'll go and shut down. I know people used to shut off their TVs, they would shut off their computers because they hear of a storm coming, because they don't want anything happen to their TV, and they don't want anything happen to their computers. But understand, they came up with this thing called a surge protector, so that when the storm comes, you won't have to shut down your life. You don't have to quit your life, and that's what we're getting to right now. We're getting what we call surge protectors, so that when a storm arises, we don't have to completely shut things down in our life. But we got to get this now. We got to get this. Storms will declare us a disaster. It breaks down our ego. This is why it's an act of God, so that nobody can help us. No, my father, my mother, I have to call in a qualified. No sense. I got to call in someone that is qualified to restore me. And it's showing me the places that I've been very vulnerable in, the places that I thought I had it going on. Here comes a storm out of season to show me that you might not be where you thought you were. I know I'm speaking to somebody. This is the season that you are entering. A storm has hit out of nowhere. You thought it was over for that. But here it is. This is an act of God. He's allowing you to experience some things right now to show you the areas that you're vulnerable in. He's going to rebuild you. The moment you declare that I'm a disaster, I don't have no hope, I don't have no help, I got to put in a call to the one that can restore me. See, the storm didn't come to kill you. It came to rebuild you. All the places that you've been doing patchwork, they are being torn down right now, so that God can declare you a disaster, so the resources can come into your life to make you better than ever. Better. You got to be better. You're going to be better than you ever been before. Now let me get this into your life. Last but not least, when the storms of life come, Jesus himself, he says this. He says, there are times when I walk into your situation and I tell the storm, peace. I say peace to the storm. In Mark 4, he comes in, and when the disciples are experiencing a great storm and they think that he don't care, and they say, care is not that we, Master, you don't care that we perish, and he walks out and he says, peace, be still. But there's other times in your life that you will be in the middle of the storm and it seems like he's nowhere to be found. And all of a sudden he comes walking out in the middle of your storm. Like in Mark 14, he comes walking out and Peter says, if it be you, let me come. In other words, there's times when he says peace, and there's other times when he comes walking on the storm and he tells you to come out. He says, let me show you how to master this moment. And in those times, you're going to have to keep faith. You're going to have faith and focus. See, Peter lost his focus and he lost his faith, so he began to sink. So he says, there are times when I say peace, but there's other times when I say, come out, let me show you how the master. But in both cases, the storm is here to teach you something, to declare something to you that you've never seen. You might think that you've got it. It declared that you're weak in your faith in this area. You think that you look good in this area. And I'm here to show you all the places that you are vulnerable in. Don't fight the storm, because it is an act of God. As a matter of fact, Jesus says this in Matthew 7. He says this. He says there was two people that experienced the same storm. Two people, same storm. He says one heard about the storm, so he built his house on a rock. And when the winds blew, when the rain came, it did not affect his house. His house remained. But there was another one that experienced the same storm, but he built his house on sand. And when the storm came and the wind blew, it blew his house away. In other words, you can rest assured that there will be storms of life. The determining factor whether you get through it is what you have built your house upon. And he says very clearly in this passage that if you hear my word and you apply I will liken you unto a man. So what he's saying, the defense or the survival tools for mastering a storm is that you hear the word and you apply his word to your life. Storms are surely going to come. They didn't come to kill you. They come to make you better. How will you deal with this storm? It's dependent on what word you got in your heart. Amen. Storms of life are here. They are sent. They are acts of God. They hit us from nowhere in a time that we think that we don't need to be experiencing storm. We thought the season was over. But I'm here to tell you, rest assured. Be assured by the word of God. When the storm comes, it comes to make you better, not to make you bitter. There are resources. When you declare yourself a disaster area, there are resources. See, storms come there again to bring national attention. They expose you to people that would never even be interested in coming into your world or into your life. God can use the most unusual things to put you in the most unusual places. But we have to drop the ego. We have to stop trying to look good. We got to stop trying to be all of that. We got to stop. We all going through it. We all, like I say, when you call about a storm in your neighborhood, they'll declare to you that there's been many calls already that have come in. We are aware that you are experiencing a storm. You're not the only one. Storms are not prejudice. Storm, there's in the midst of the New York storm, there are $1 million mansions that are being destroyed. There are, in the midst of a storm, you find out that millionaires lose everything. So don't think it's just you. Storms, there are people that are still dressed up that are going through some tremendous storms. They might not want you to know, but they are going through it just like you are going through. But I'm here to tell you, you're going to process this storm. You're going to know, you're going to declare that the winds may blow, the rain may come, but I'm built on a solid foundation. This comes to make me better. This comes to make me better, not bitter. I'm telling you right now, you will get through. Embrace it. Embrace this moment, because God is going to elevate you out of this moment. Your testimony after this is going to be so incredible, because it's not about you. It's about the people that are in a storm as well. And your testimony is going to allow them to come through just like you have come through. But we're going to drop our ego. We're going to drop who we think we are. And it's amazing how when you think that you all of that, a storm hit your life to declare that you're vulnerable in several areas. And if it's not for the grace of God, you will not survive. But I'm here to tell you, you're going to get through this just as sure as God sent it. He's got a plan behind it all. And build your faith. Build your faith on the word of God. Build your faith. God is not angry That's not why you're experiencing the storm, because God is angry. Man, I could preach a whole text on that, but God is rebuilding you. God is for you. God is trying to get some resources into, but he's got to wash away all the things that you thought were support systems, all the things that you thought that had you, all the things that you thought was qualified. You know, storms and tragedies in life, I've discovered this more than ever. There are people that you wouldn't normally talk to, or you wouldn't normally dialogue, or you wouldn't normally let into your life. But when a dilemma hit your life, you don't care who it is. If they got relief, come in. And sometimes the storms of life is coming just to get the right people into your world. You will allow people that you wouldn't even talk to, but when the storm hits, you say, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you're white. I don't care if you're green. If you can help, come now. So we're processing life a little bit different. God is for you. God is for you succeeding. God would do whatever it takes. Unusual, whether you can understand it, interpret it, you got a grasp on it, it doesn't matter. God is going to do whatever it takes to get you wherever he wants you to be. And if it's through a storm, embrace the moment, because God is teaching you something in this moment. I love all of y'all. Do me a favor, if you will. Go and subscribe to my page. My YouTube page, Pastor G at Network Believers. Follow me on Twitter at Pastor G, the number 4 NOB. I'm on Instagram. I don't even know what I'm Pastor G at Instagram as well. I got a new website coming. Spread the news. There again, my agenda is not to build me. My agenda is to build people. Build people. I tell my people this all the time, and I call them my people because God has committed them unto a work that he allowed me to do. It's only by the grace of God. Whenever you hear someone say some incredible words, I hear people saying, Pastor G, that was so incredible. I always let you know this, that if I said something incredible or something that's deep, it is only because there are incredible people listening. Are you listening to me? Anytime you hear a minister, preacher, whatever they call themselves, say an incredible word, it is only because there is an incredible people that God is interested in. It's only because of you. It's only because of God is thinking about his people. It's only because you are so great that God speaks an incredible word. Don't you ever let anybody tell you that you are not great in God. God has something so specific and so incredible for you. And you are privy to anything that anybody else is privy to. Don't you ever let someone declare that you are less than. You are the most important thing in God's agenda. You got to think of yourself like that. I'm the most important thing in God's agenda. God loves me like that. And if a preacher, a minister, whoever they are saying incredible things, it's only because you, the incredible person, is listening. I'm just fortunate that God uses me as a vessel to speak. Keep pulling on God. And I feel good because he uses me to say stuff that I know that I'm not good enough to say. Amen. So let's live today. Let's live today. This is the day that the Lord has made. Get this. This is the day that the Lord has made. You got to be rejoicing in it. Do this for me. Expect something that you never expected before. Expect something incredible to happen to you that you can't do for yourself. Those of you that are old and you wanted to go to school, go back to school. Those of you that think your time is past for your business, start your business. The only thing God wants you to do is start now. Get past all the things that hindered you in the past, all the things that you said that you couldn't do. Try it again. Try it again and watch what happens in this scene. Pastor G is out. I love y'all. Go to my YouTube page. Subscribe there. I want everybody that's listening, go to my YouTube. Lorraine Miller, go to my YouTube page. I got my cousin from out of Florida, Linda. Go to YouTube page. Go to my YouTube page. Bernadette, go to my YouTube page. I want y'all to subscribe there. I got a lot of videos there. I got a lot of things going on, and I want y'all to go and subscribe there. Follow me on Twitter. I'm gonna speak good news every time you see me. I'm saying positive news. We don't need to hear negative stuff. There's another negative stuff going on in your life. Now we need to hear positive things because God loves you. Pastor G is out on this beautiful Wednesday. Thank you for listening.